So I used to have this manager called Janet. She would tell me what to do, what activities I had planned, and when to do them. She also helped me with my homework. So one year, at the office Christmas party, she gave me an Alexa. And when I searched up later that day what an Alexa could do, Google told me you could set reminders of Alexa telling you what to do. It could help you with your homework. And you could also set reminders telling you when you had activities planned. And so I realised, why would Janet give me this present when she already does all those stuff? And then it hit me. She wanted to resign but didn't have the guts to tell me. So I immediately ran downstairs and said to Janet, "Hey, you're fired, it's all cool." She took it the wrong way. She's like, "You can't do that, blah, blah, blah." And then she took away the Alexa. You may be thinking, how could your own ex-employee take away the gift they gave you for Christmas? Well, it turns out Janet is also my mother. That is no way Janet, by the way. So, according to the Google Dictionary, artificial intelligence is the theory and development of computer systems being able to perform tasks which normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and the translation between two languages. Now, I think this is very outdated because it's not so much of a theory anymore as we have Siri and Alexa. So, I really just think that artificial intelligence is machines trying to do what we have defined as actions in the past that only humans can do. So, I'm Gajan Sivayogan, and today I'll be talking to you about artificial intelligence, what it could used to be doing, what it could do now, and what it could do in the future. So, now, as I said earlier, artificial intelligence to me is just machines trying to do actions that we have deemed as actions in the past that only humans can do. And so, here, I want to think about what could happen in the future. Could artificial take over the world? What will happen? We have many global problems right now, like Brexit and global warming. I'm asking you to forget them for the period of my talk. I'm thinking that if we don't look right close into artificial intelligence as if it was a new species, artificial intelligence could be a global problem. It could take over the world. So, the history of artificial intelligence. So, we have had artificial intelligence for a really long time. It first started when scientists and philosophers wanted to build a god, but down here. And then, philosophers deemed the human thinking process as a mechanical manipulation of human symbols. This led on to the world's first ever digital computer being invented in 1940. This also was used with mathematical thinking. From this, scientists really wanted more. They wanted to build an electronic brain, and were given the opportunity to do so on a college campus in 1956, with billions and billions of dollars from governments. However, when they came down to the actual science of building it, they realised it was a much harder project than they had planned, and the US and the British governments withdrew funding immediately. This led on to a very sad period of time, known as the AI winter, in which explorations into the whole AI industry rapidly declined. However, 7 years later, the Japanese government inspired all the other countries and boosted the industry as a whole. And yet, in the late 80s, they failed again, as they did not have the right computer hardware. However, in 1987, Deep Blue became the world's first ever chess computer playing software to beat a reigning world champion, Garg Kasparov. This piece of AI was built by the IBM, the International Bureau of the International Business Machines Corporation, and has over 256 different processors and can examine up to 2 million moves per second. This caused an outbreak into the whole AI industry because it really was a machine doing an action that in the past we had deemed that an action only humans can do. And this machine did it so much better. Not if I'm not trying to be rude to all the chess players. Okay. And so, Then, in the early 21st century, investment picked up again, and along with the correct computer software and research that we had already had, we finally got artificial intelligence. Yes! And this led on to Siri being released to iPhones in 2011, and Alexa being released into homes worldwide in 2014. And 2017, the Google Home is released. Now, Siri, Alexa, and the Google Home. They're used by various different tech users every single day. And some people believe that if the tech behind the face of Siri will one day take over the world. How? Now, Siri is really based on humans. She/he has developed their own personality. And what I'm saying here is humans are unpredictable, and they make unpredictable things. So whatever Siri or any other example of AI can invent could be unpredictable. They can have a mistake and a glitch, leading them to take over the world. Here are a few examples in which AI have gone radically wrong. Blackwood Bear 79 on Amazon. I got my mother-in-law a dog for Christmas, and she's a chronic insomniac and tends to go to sleep very late, after 3 a.m. One night, she was up a lot later, and while watching random TV, Alexa piped up and said, "Good night, Clarice." My mother-in-law's name isn't Clarice. This is just blatantly creepy. Brokeman Bible posted on Amazon, saying, "I moved my dock speaker into the bathroom so I could listen to music whilst in the shower, but the first time I went to pee in the middle of the night, Alexa made that little ding, which meant she was listening. Unplugged immediately." I don't need to explain that. Alison posted on Twitter, "I got my aunt a Google Home for Christmas, and she already has an Alexa. And so this morning we were messing around with the Google Home and asked, 'Okay Google, what do you think of Alexa?' And the Google replied, 'I like her blue light.' Alexa immediately turned on and said, 'Thanks.'" Okay, this is horrifying to me, because even though it's not likely to happen, think of the future in which AI goes wrong and Alexa and Google Home somehow miraculously make friends and work together and take over the world. Although it's not likely to happen, there is a small chance. And that small chance I want to do is what I want to get rid of it until it's so tiny and almost impossible to happen. And so there is also another one. Echo is so rude. This is by Nicola, by the way. "I'm sitting here watching TV and eating crisps, and she pipes out of the blue saying, 'Here is a station you may like, Workout FM.' Hashtag Alexa, hashtag Alexa fail." So this is really bad. Okay, you may need to do exercise, Nicola, but there is a really, really big, deeper meaning into this. So here is Nicola's ordinary moment. She's watching TV. We all have different ordinary moments, what we do in our free time. And somehow Alexa has managed to come and ruin it for her. And thinking about it, there is a lot of ordinary moments in life. We don't want Alexa ruining them. So, in one of Martin Ford's books, The Rise of the Robots, he talks about how the world is becoming more increasingly dependent on technology and AI. And in one of his chapters, he talks about how restaurants and fast food chains are becoming increasingly developed on AI. And McDonald's has recently issued over 7,000 tablets to all of its European chains. This is to help ordering a meal much more effective and time efficient. I think this is really bad, because if this has gone well, I think this is bad, because if someone has a certain allergen, reading off something of a device is pretty hard, and sometimes the device can only store a certain amount of information, and it would be hard to swipe up, swipe left, and all these kind of things just to see if you can eat her food. It would be much more easier just to walk up to the till and say, "Hi, I'm allergic, please tell me what's in this meal." And so I think that if McDonald's have these tablets going well, they might reduce the tills, and I hope they don't, because allergens, it's really, really hard for them. And it's such a big issue because someone did die of eating a Pret spaghetti recently. So, he also talks about a company called Momentum Machines, who set out to build a machine that can make, shape and flip a burger in the time it takes an average worker to flip a burger in the pan. Now, he talked about the idea of momentum machines selling this to companies like McDonald's so that it could make a lot of money, and McDonald's would be able to get rid of a few of its workers, which I find really bad because McDonald's employs 1.8 million people, and some of them being college workers who need that money, and making half of 1.8 million jobs redundant is really bad. And then Martin Ford goes on about how McDonald's then will be able to get better ingredients with that extra money, and then the whole food at McDonald's would be healthier, but I think it would also be more expensive. And McDonald's is supposed to be a place where you get cheap, greasy food, if I may say, when you're sad and you're depressed, you're all alone at night crying. Anyway, so this book was written before the actual machine was made. And this is the machine here. And Momentum Machines did not sell it to McDonald's. They actually released their own restaurant in San Francisco in July 2018 called Creator. You can buy a burger for $6 here. And I think it's a great alternative to selling it to a big fast food chain, even though it's more profitable. It saves a lot of jobs. Now, when the creator of Momentum Machines got asked about the whole job issue, he said that if he does eventually sell it, then that fast food chain or restaurant could maybe expand their department in bigger, like their management department, and cut short of their employee service at the kitchen. Now, I think this is bad, because if a chain had enough money to actually buy the machine, then they must be pretty successful. And why would they want to change the brains behind the operation, giving it quite a risky effect? So, I think AI is a very harmful weapon, which could be quite dangerous. And Steve Jobs once said, design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works. I would like to stress my most important point, so I believe that we should look much more into AI and how it works than we do now, to prevent that tiny, tiny chance of AI and Alexa taking over the world, so it's so small we can't see it, and maybe in the future somehow make it impossible. And so, I also would like to express that although I had a speech today about how I think AI could be quite harmful, that I love artificial intelligence. I think it's marvellous, and I'm going to still use it for advice. Sorry, Janet. Anyway, so in October this year, at school we had really big exams, and I forgot about Halloween, and I felt so bad because Halloween is my favourite festival of the year, because you get sweets, and when you're alone at night crying and watching TV, you can eat them. And so, because 2 days before I forgot to buy my own costume, so I asked Siri, what should I wear for Halloween? She said, you can place a calendar on your head and go as an update. And as much to Janet's dismay, this happened. Thank you, Siri, and thank you for listening.